So my topic, guys, is with the story coming out that Zelda is going to be more of a Western style game as opposed to a Japanese style game. Does this mean that a lot of these developers feel as if they need to go with the tide of Western style RPGs, right? These open world games where it's what we're accustomed to, what the American audience is accustomed to. Do you think that these developers feel as if they need to kind of play in our ballpark so that way they sell more copies? Do you think that this type of game resonates with gamers now the best?
I mean, yeah, I'd certainly think so. Look at the success of Fallout, the last couple of years.
Dragon Age?
Dragon Age, Elder Scrolls, Mass Effect, and even like action games like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry. They all have like that same kind of open world, right? Like, yeah, that's clearly the trend here. And I don't know if I'm kind of skeptical of this. I mean, I don't know if this is necessarily what Zelda needs to straight up copy some of that. I mean, it could be good, but at, at the same time too, it's understandable where they want to inject something new into their same old formula like he mentioned in the quote, that their secret sauce has kind of been the same. But then looking back, the previous Zelda game before Ocarina of Time was A Link to the Past, correct? I think.
Yeah.
Which was obviously an enormous jump, like both technically and I mean obviously moving to the N64. But if think about what would be a modern like comparison of jumping from A Link to the Past to Ocarina of Time, like what would that mean today?
Yeah, well, the weird thing too with going with this is I think the reason they feel as if they need to go more Western is because so they're really just releasing HD remakes at this point, right? The last like good new Zelda game to come out was A Link Between Worlds. That Triforce Heroes a lot of people hated. It's a gimmick. It was a Nintendo game.
Didn't even go near it.
Yeah, it wasn't worth going near. I played A Link Between Worlds, and to me, honestly, it's like a nostalgia trip at this point in a bad way, personally. I think Zelda does what Pokemon does, but it doesn't grasp you the same way. So, like, when I buy a Pokemon game, I expect the same kind of thing, right? You get your Pokemon, somebody's trying to do something with Pokemon, you get your 8 badges, you defeat the Elite Four, and then there's New Game Plus, right? With Zelda, it seems like it's the same formula, but it's not like welcoming. Like I don't feel like doing it over and over again. And I think maybe having like an open world game where it feels more like a cartoon Skyrim, it would benefit it, and it would get a lot of new people into Zelda who aren't medicated and drugged off of the nostalgia of Zelda to keep running with the franchise.
So do you think we're going to see a Zelda where, I mean, obviously, I think we're still going to have Link. Obviously, they're going to have like character customization to any extent. But do you think we're going to see Link leveling up his one-handed sword ability, or having any sort of leveling like that, which has never been in a Zelda game?
That's the biggest thing for me. Jerrad, you mentioned a cartoonish Skyrim, and I think that's what everybody wants from Zelda.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Even hardcore Zelda fans, people that have been playing it for 20 years, because like you said, with Pokemon, it's like, it's the same every time, but it's a good kind of familiar where you can it's like a nice soft couch that you're used to. You can just sit down and relax and you don't have to worry about it. And with Zelda, it's the same every time, but they change a bunch of stuff too. So you have to like relearn all this other stuff, but then you kind of like settle into the groove.
It's the same game
like,
you've played. Yeah, it's
right.
like, yeah.
So it's almost like you just have to, kind of like Twilight Princess, you have to have this super long tutorial, and then it's like, all right, now you remember the rest of the stuff, just get back to it. And it's like, oh my gosh. If you guys want this to be, same thing with any of Nintendo's stuff at this point. If you guys want to last into the 21st century with the rest of video games as a whole, then you need to, like, get on the ball. Like, act like it's... quit acting like you're just making HD NES games, know?
So
they need that cartoon Skyrim.
Yeah, I think so. For those of you who have seen the Ghostbusters reaction that Kind of Funny did with Max Landis, he said something that really resonated with me, where movies are trying to be the same but different.
Yep.
And I think that completely applies to Zelda in the sense of like they're trying to be the same thing, but it's different. But it's not the different you want,
Yeah.
So
it's different, but like.
But it's also familiar.
Not different enough.
Yeah.
It's not different enough, not new enough, and.
The
art style of this game looks different and new enough, but exactly what Don was saying. Are you going to be able to upgrade your sword? Are you going to be able to, like, get cooler gear for your horse and stuff like that? Or is it just going to be, you got another heart container. Congratulations. Da 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 da.
Yeah, I
Which
think
is,
they'll
like,
definitely have
more
some
of the
callbacks
same.
to that stuff, but they need to innovate because I think at this point it's like a lot of Nintendo things, it's running on nostalgia, right?
Exactly.
And even going back to the Pokemon thing for the argument, the new Sun and Moon from the trailers people are seeing, it looks like this could be a really different type of Pokemon game. I mean, it's not that hard to be different when
Well-
everything's pretty much been the same. But I think with new leadership and everything, and not even just because of the new leadership, I think they're already in this way of they want to become a new Nintendo because they know that old Nintendo doesn't resonate with people anymore, you know?
Right.
It's like all these people who love them have grown up, and it's like, well, those things are cool, but I want stuff that I like now, you know?
Yeah, people change, and especially when they're growing up. So, like I said, they don't want HD NES games. They want something new, and Nintendo's been trying to be the same thing for 20, 25 years now, and that's not what video games in 2016 are. Video games are constantly evolving, and as long as they're trying to be that old Nintendo, they're just going to be stagnant. And if another stagnant Zelda game comes out, I honestly believe it could ruin the franchise because they're certainly not helping it with things like Triforce Heroes.
Yeah, well, the thing is I have never really in the last two generations of Wii and Wii U felt that there was a game that I needed to buy a Wii for. And maybe that's just me and the type of gamer I am, but I do like Nintendo. Like, I buy every Pokemon game that comes out. I bought Smash on the 3DS. Like, I do support Nintendo for the games I want to play, but they don't have a console experience, and I'm like, that warrants me buying another console, you know? I currently don't own a PS4, but I want to own one because I want to play through Last of Us Remastered, and I want to play through Horizon Zero Dawn.
Infamous Second Son.
Those games have always been kind of like, I don't know if I necessarily like them, but like the PlayStation does have experiences that I want to buy it, right, to have one.
Right, they're enticing.
Yeah, haven't had that with Nintendo, and like maybe that's just me, but I do love their franchises. Not because I don't love their franchises. I will tell you this, and this will never happen. If they go and announce X going to give it to you, right, and they say that there's going to be an RPG game on RPG Pokemon game on the console at release. No matter if the game ends up being shitty or not, I'm buying an NX because at least it may be a shitty game, but they're trying to do something people want, right? And if Zelda Wii U or Wii U / NX is a Skyrim cartoon, that will make me possibly want to buy an NX. It depends on what else the lineup is, but it'll definitely put me 80-20 as for buying it. Like, it's something that would entice me if it's that well done.
I will say I really hope they don't stray away from being the kings of local co-op, like Sony and Microsoft have.
Well, actually, no, you can't say that
That's
totally
the one
because
thing they have.
even though Halo didn't have couch co-op, Gears of War is. That might not have been a Microsoft problem. That was actually a 343 problem because they figured they'd rather have the game always run at 60 frames than couch co-op. I don't give a damn if a game's running at 60 frames. The fact that I have to have 2 copies of the game to play with my friend at my house is dumb.
No, yeah, in general, I mean, look at PS4 and
still the
Xbox
kings.
One.
Yeah.
Look at PS4 and Xbox One. I mean, what good local couch co-op games are there available? I mean, real obviously sports games, maybe a couple of racing games, Diablo, but I mean, other than that, it's limited, right? I mean, playing Mario Couch.
Mario Couch, that's the new title coming out.
Yeah, right. Mario Kart with a couple friends, or Smash Bros, or New Super Mario World, any of that stuff is just, there's nothing similar on PS4 and Xbox One.
But what's the point of being king of couch co-op when you don't have any friends who actually own the console?
They come over.
Very true. Very true. And that could be what the NX does. Is I heard a crazy thing on IGN News a while back where it was like, they were hoping to sell like 250 million units within the first year or something.
That's insane.
Which is like, PS4's right around 50 million, I guess, right now.
They're hitting that dev math or something.
Yeah, exactly.
They want to sell 250 million?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I rewatched the IGN News thing, and they said that, and, IGN wasn't lying about it. So, my point is, that's like a ubiquitous device. Not even gaming system or not even Nintendo console, that's a ubiquitous device at that point. That's like iPhone territory.
Yeah.
So
Is he gonna do my grocery shopping for me or what?
yeah, exactly. So if that's for real and they're really wanting this to be so ubiquitous, then maybe the king of co-op is like what they're gonna all be all about. And then co-op when you're sitting on the train with your detachable device that's like kind of like the 3DS or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I'm Nintendo never delivers on power though, and that's the problem to me is like they always do this gimmicky stuff where it's like it's almost there. Like this is good, but it could be better, you know? And
Right.
I just don't want a thing where like, oh yeah, we have this device that you can take with you, and you can. It's kind of like Vita in the sense of like cross play, cross buy, right? Where it works when you're playing it mobily. But I don't want it to be. I'm playing Witcher 3 when I'm at home, but when I take it on the go, it looks like Duck Hunt. You know, like I don't want I don't want the graphical difference of the experiences to be that. Obviously, I can't expect a whole lot because it's a mobile device, but even phones aren't that far off from having decent graphics. You know, so it's like I don't want that kind of experience because at that point, it feels like you're playing two different games. So.
Well, it would have to stream, right? It would have to be a remote play kind of situation for that to even be kind of functional.
Yeah, I don't know.
You would definitely have to link back to your console. Otherwise, we're looking at a Borderlands 2 Vita situation, and we don't want that.
Yeah, I definitely think that Nintendo realizes that they need to appeal to Western gamers, and I think they're gonna be figuring that kind of stuff out. I'm interested to see where they take the Metroid series because I really think they can do something really unique with that if they have a good dev team. But we'll definitely see. So those were our impressions of Western style RPGs flooding the Japanese developers' subconscious, really.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for checking out the Controlled Interest Gamecast. If you want to stay up to date, remember to subscribe on YouTube and iTunes, and give us a follow on SoundCloud and on Twitter at CTRLINT. #SmashTheDunst!